You know what? I made a load of notes to bring out with me, and somehow I think I've dropped them. It's alright because it's on a bit of paper, and that paper will decompose at some point. However, it's a bit of a pain in the arse because there were some prompts with a load of figures in there. But thinking about it, it's alright because someone might actually pick that piece of paper up and go, whoa, what on earth? What's going on here? Whatever is it? Yeah, so I was going to talk about excess deaths and the vaccine, and the fact that there's now millions of reports online to verify the damage that these things have done. It's unquestionable. There has been a serious crime committed. Like I say, yesterday I got pulled on the way home from doing some shopping, driving past the police station. Caught me off guard really, because I thought my MOT was still alright, but anyway, there you go. And of course they did their bit, and I did my bit. When they finished their bit, well, her bit, I said, I'm glad you stopped me, because as it goes, I've got a crime to report. And I got my rucksack out. I told her, I've shown her the paperwork, which she was not interested in looking at, of malfeasance in public office by the Welsh Education Secretary when he failed to respond to my request to the Anglesey Education Secretary for the risk assessments and method statements pertaining to kids running about in school with masks on. What the Welsh Education Secretary did send was a generic document of advice. However, me being a health and safety officer for however many years, knew that that wasn't a lawful document, wasn't worth the paper it was written on, because risk assessments and method statements have to be particular to the activity, place, people, space, everything has to be taken into consideration. And not all schools are the same, not all schools have the same amount of pupils, so shortly after, my school agreed to mark, oh, might be able to blank that out, yeah, I'll have to. My son, I'm only saying I have to blank it out because I haven't asked his consent to use his name. They agreed to let him officially stay off school while they got the documentation in place. And them getting the documentation in place come off the back of me emailing them when they said stay off officially while they were not covered by their legally required documentation. I sent them another email saying, look, you've set a bit of a precedent here because you've agreed to let my son stay off school because it's not safe, yet you've got a few hundred other kids in school. So that kind of suggests to me that they're not insured. And what a deputy head emailed straight back. I won't mention his name because obviously I haven't got consent off him neither. But he emailed me back and said, I've looked into what you said and you're right. So I've employed the services of a couple of health and safety experts to come in and write our school's documentation out so we don't further disrupt kids' education. And what he meant by further disrupt kids' education was the whole COVID nonsense in the beginning. You know, the virus that didn't exist and a load of people made money out of investing in vaccines. It's funny, isn't it? We knew who all the big players were, now we're weeding out the little players. And they all will be found and they all will be held to account. I mean, stop and think about it, guys. Anyone who's in doubt watching this, Go and do your due diligence research. Databases have been hacked now. All the stuff that we knew was out there, knew was happening, that was hidden, has been made public. There's literally millions of reports now that are available if you look in the right places. The damage, continuing pain and suffering, and the murder those vaccines have wrought on mankind are fucking unholy. And anyone who had a part in it, knowingly or unknowingly, have got some serious karma to deal with, like they wouldn't fucking know. Sorry for swearing, but just trying to emphasise the fact that things might yet still get a bit tricky for those of us who have stood under natural law, God's law, because this is an attempt to kill natural law. This is an attempt to depopulate the planet. This is an attempt to fulfill the set of rules that were inscripted onto the Georgia Guidestones. Remember those things that got blown up? You know, you must remember those stones that no one really knows who erected them. They had a list of rules on them, right down to depopulating the planet to, I think it was 500 million or something. Yeah, they were really interesting stones because one of the stones had a hole in it, and the pole star never moved from it, ever. Always, you could always see the pole star through that hole, which is fascinating, I think. Look, it's a maxim of law. When you've been found guilty of lying about one critical thing, then everything else you say has to be called into question. The excess deaths since the vaccine rollout speak for themselves. It's like, unless there's some other mysterious phenomena just coming in, killing people of rare turbo cancers, blood clots, brain hemorrhages, and strokes, you know, killing kids, killing children with myocarditis and other heart issues, kids who haven't had a life yet, kids who are innocent. There's some of you out there who'll watch this. I doubt you'll get all the way through it because you know who you are. You're fucking guilty. They were innocents. Whereas you saw them as cents, dollars and pound signs. They come after our kids, and some of you paid to let that happen. Some of you were too scared to stop that happening. Some of you were not informed enough to stop it happening. And there's those of you who managed through some sick spidey sense not to be vaccinated, even though you weren't aware of everything we've been trying to tell you. But now there's more than enough information out there for you to come to your own conclusions about what's good and bad for your health. there's a database, a European database that's just been hacked, and basically it lists 62,000 medications that people take, and it reports all the adverse events of those drugs and what the side effects are, if there's any deaths. And I think as they unfold over the coming months and people start to rip that data apart, we'll see that Big Pharma and its investors have been wholesalely guilty of crimes against humanity. Like I say, I had a bit of paper with a load of stuff printed out on it, and it's probably fake that it fell out of my pocket, and someone will go, "Ooh, what's this?" Find it and pick it up and go, "What? What? Really? I think it's 22% inflation in living costs in the last 12 months. Whereas at the moment what they're doing is showing you the rise in inflation since just before the election to after the election, and sort of claiming that because the public consciousness was, oh, we're so excited, Jimmy Starmer's getting in, Keir Savile, there I go again. Oh, I don't know why I can't get that image of the guy who's your Prime Minister hanging out with Jimmy Savile, especially when he was younger, like, you know, teenage years. And then isn't there a conflict of interest there? We've got evidence that he was under the influence of Jimmy as a young man or a young teenager, you know, looking up to Jimmy because he's this big famous star. Satan's fucking little watcher. Jimmy Savile. And surely when he was Director of Public Prosecutions and Jimmy Savile's case landed on his desk, wouldn't there have been a conflict of interest if he had met him when he was younger? And judging by the photo, you know, was happy to have met him, so obviously Jimmy made an impression on him or in him. But you make your own decisions on that. And when he's in his position of Director of Public Prosecutions, was it in his interest to go, oh no, he's sound, I met him when he was a teenager, nothing to see there. Personally, I've got the feeling now it's all a show to wake as many people up as possible, because, come on, Keir Starmer, really? Knighted Sir Patrick Vallance, was it? Oh dear. It doesn't get any more absurd. But ask yourself, how many people do you know were fucked up by that jab? How many people do you know who died? How many injuries have you looked at with your own eyes? Can I actually get the camera so I can hear this? I won't film you for your, so don't. But I'm with PC. Can I just get your number there, please?
It's on your documentation.
3530. Name? Roberts. And I've just reported to her that I've got dozens of, or hundreds of readings of these masts being the equivalent of a car doing and being told by the corporation that she works for that there's nothing they can do about it and we'd have to take it up legally. Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, what I'm trying to explain is you've obviously explained to me that it's the council not releasing documentation to you. That's what you've explained to me.
But they're committing a crime.
No, what I'm explaining to you is I will be investigating that. What I'm explaining is you need to seek legal advice in where you stand in obtaining that documentation and taking it from there.
But what about the crime that I'm reporting
to you now? At this moment, I haven't had a crime reported to me. That's not a crime. Well,
I'm reporting one to you now. I am here now reporting to you. Look, guys, I've got all the evidence here. I've got all the evidence here. And I've got another rucksack in the car with everything from malfeasance in public office, which is a crime.
I appreciate you.
It's a crime imprisonable up to 10 years.
And you have explained this to me. What I'm explaining to you is it's clearly an ongoing matter between yourself and the council, and you need to get legal advice on where you stand in terms of the documentation.
Can you explain to me where you come in all this, where your corporation, who's supposed to be there to protect the public from unnecessary and undue harms?
I have explained to you, there's no point in me keeping...
You haven't.
If I keep repeating myself, it's an ongoing issue between yourself and the council regarding them releasing...
I'm trying to understand.
You've explained to me that they're not releasing documentation to you. That's what you're trying to report to me, am I right?
No, I'm reporting to you that the crimes are happening as we speak. While those things are switched on, people are walking past them, it's making them very, very ill.
Okay, but that's obviously something that whoever the company is that's built them, that's what they're dealing with. That's not a crime that the police would investigate.
Okay, let me put it another way. If I rang you up and said the guy's just punched me in the street, I can see him, what would you do?
That's a report of assault, isn't it? So
right, well I'm reporting assault now. I'm being assaulted, I'm full of steelwork. I've had numerous rashes come up throughout the time it's been switched on.
But what I'm trying to explain to you is that would be a matter through the council, environmental health and things like that.
It's a crime being perpetrated on me.
I'm not going to stand here and argue with you all day, okay? I've explained to you where I stand in that. You've reported it to me. It's on camera here, it's on camera for yourself, okay? If you're ongoing with the council with it, then that is something you need to get legal advice with.
I'm just trying to find out where you guys stand, because at the moment, the public opinion of you guys